Welcome back to part two of every Russell Wilson sack of the year 2020. My name is Jace, and thank you guys for clicking on the video. We're gonna talk about Russell Wilson in these sacks from week 10 all the way through the wild card weekend. So, like I said before, it's a two-part series, so we're wrapping up here with this episode here. But we still need to have a conversation about Russell Wilson and whether or not these sacks are falling on Russell Wilson, or they're falling on the offensive coordinator, or they're falling on the offensive line. So Russ has a problem that a lot of other quarterbacks don't have, right? So Russell Wilson has been sacked 40 plus times every year since 2013. He's been sacked 45 or more times in 4 seasons. 3 of those seasons in the last 3 years. That's a problem. You compare that to a guy like Tom Brady, who's been sacked 40 plus times once 2 decades ago in 2001. So some will say that he's a statue, so of course it's low, and that's fine. Maybe Tom Brady isn't the best comp. Let's try Cam Newton. Cam is notorious for holding the ball, running around, trying to make plays, and getting sacked, and not having a good offensive line in Carolina, but I digress, Dave Gettleman. As bad as Carolina's offensive line was, and as much as Cam ran around with the ball, Cam Newton was only sacked 40 plus times once in his entire career, and that was in 2013. Russell Wilson has been sacked in every season outside of his rookie season. Every season. That's a problem. Coordinators change, offensive linemen change, lineups change, receivers change. The only constant thing here is Russell Wilson. Are these sacks falling on Russell Wilson? Let's look at the Rams game from week 10, and let's find out. So the first sack we're going to look at is Russell Wilson's sack on the Seattle 44 by Terrell Lewis. This was a sack on 1st and 10 in week 10. And it's a sack that I have decided to put on Russell Wilson as I just run the play for you. And the first thing we're going to look at here is, as I just said, it's 1st and 10, right? So you have this receiver running somewhat of a drag route or a dig route. This is Tyler Lockett here. He's going to run this route across the face of the linebackers and the safeties. I mean, he has to get to the sticks to get a first down, but it's 1st and 10. Russ, no, there's no pressure on Russ. Lockett's open, and granted, there is a defender there, but if he would have threw this ball earlier, Lockett could probably get to the 50. I think Lockett could get to the 50, maybe like the 48 or the 49, like somewhere around there where this play doesn't have to end in a sack, where Russell Wilson is just scrambling for no reason, and it looks like Russ is trying to scramble because Russ wants this. Russ wants this. And that is a problem because Russ, you can't have this every play. You that's not good. That's not good football. You know, you can't continue to try to look for the big play when you have a 5-yard drag route underneath. Like that, the fact that Russ doesn't throw this ball here with all this space between this defender and Tyler Lockett, why he doesn't throw this ball here blows my mind. Russ, this one's on you. This ball has to come out. This ball has to come out because then at this point, all hell breaks loose. Russ ends up getting sacked and the play's over because Russ didn't throw the ball to the open receiver. Okay, so the next sack here is going to be a Russell Wilson sack, again on 1st and 10. This is going to be a sack by Leonard Floyd for minus 10 yards, right? So we're going to snap the ball here, and play's over, right? I mean, Russ can't do anything at this point. He potentially has something down underneath, but I mean, it's the pressure gets there so quickly. And we'll look at it from the end zone angle as Leonard Floyd, who just got paid a whole bunch of money, actually celebrates. But I want you to watch this side of the offensive line here, where you're gonna have Brandon Shell, number 70. So you're gonna have Damian Lewis. You have Fuller, Upati, and Dwayne Brown as your offensive linemen on this play, right? So ball's going to be snapped, and it's just not enough people. It's an overload on this side where you have Dwayne Brown and Mike Upati blocking one rusher. Fuller's not really doing anything. Damian Lewis has his guy locked up, and Brandon Shell is 2-on-1. Now, Shell can't do anything at this point, right? So Shell just takes the closest defender to him. So either way, Russ was going to get sacked here. So I can't put this on Russ necessarily. But what I probably would like to see, though, is Brandon Shell take Leonard Floyd here. And if he gets his hands on Leonard Floyd, I trust Russell Wilson to be able to roll out on this play and potentially hit Olsen here. But even with the pressure coming in his face, Olsen's open. This ball should be out, but I want to put this on Russell Wilson, but I can't just because it's one offensive lineman and two defenders. I mean, it's doomed from the start. Russell Wilson's not escaping those long arms of Leonard Floyd. As we run it back one more time, maybe it can be on Russ just because I expect this ball to be out as quickly as possible, but I guess the pressure is just in his face and Russ just runs and he bails, and it's just a bad play all around. This next play here that we're going to watch is going to be a play. It's going to be a sack. It's Russell Wilson's third sack of the game against the Los Angeles Rams. It's going to be 3rd and 20. He's going to get sacked for -5 yards by Leonard Floyd. Again, Leonard Floyd was all over Russ this game. And as you can see here, Russ steps up. He's trying to find someone open. But, look at these receivers. Like, look at everyone. What bothers me about Brian Schottenheimer's offense is what I'm seeing in these film reviews is there are so many routes where receivers are looking back at the ball, right? And when you have speed, the likes of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, like I don't need to see these routes up here where they just run and then he stops and runs a curl, or he just turns around to face the sticks. Like I don't like those plays. I don't think that's a smart play to do with the type of weapons that you have. And this resulted in a sack on 3rd and 20. So you have to go deep down the field to get to get your 21 yards to convert the first down or convert the 4th down. Or the 3rd down, excuse me. So if you wanted to go 3rd and 15 and throw a pass that's kind of short of the sticks and then go for it on 4th and short, you could. That would have made more sense here. But to have receivers run these deep routes down the field, it just didn't really make any sense to me. So again, on the offensive line here, again, it's Dwayne Brown here at number 76, Mike Upati, Fuller the center, Damian Lewis the guard, and Brandon Shell the right tackle. So as Russ goes to snap the ball, they leave a back in to block. They also have Greg Olsen in to block. So realistically, if we take it back a few steps, right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blockers on this play, and it's not short yardage. It's 3rd and 20. So the Rams are getting after you. They're going to make you throw the ball on 3rd, and they're not going to give you time. So they do a very good job of picking it up. But problem is it's 3rd and long, so it doesn't make sense to throw this ball because you're not really going to get anything. You're not going to get close to where you need to go. Then the running back or the tight end here, they kind of give their block up, and Russ just kind of spins, and Russ doesn't know what he's doing. And watching it from this angle, you almost want to say, hey, Russ, why don't you just take this? Why don't you potentially take that, and you could, get maybe 10 or 15 yards, with your legs. Like, I know some people are going to be thinking that, but if we, pull it back up here and we watch it from this angle, Russ can run. There's a lot of room to run, and Russ runs, but he runs directly into the defender. That I personally have to put that one on Russ, just because there was room to run and Russ just did not run. You can't really defend that, because like at this point here, if you're Russell Wilson, take off, run. We talked about this last video. There are plays where Russ, if this was 2014 Russ, he would have ran. But I don't know if he's just because he's older or he's a dad now and he's making business decisions, but he doesn't want to run for whatever reason. this is a lane where Russ can run and have a lot of success, and he just doesn't, and that's really unfortunate. So this one falls on Russ. So this next play here is going to be a Russell Wilson sack. It's going to be on 2nd and 7, if I remember correctly, 2nd and 7. So they're going to drop back. Russ is going to look, and Russ pumps, but Russ doesn't throw. Russ just runs into the defender, and it doesn't really make any sense. But we're going to watch it from the end zone angle, because I think the end zone angle will tell us a better picture, right? So again, the offensive line is all the same. You still have a running back in the backfield here. You have DK Metcalf here in the slot, and they're gonna run the ball. DK runs this route, and he just sits down in the logo, and Russ just ducks down for whatever reason, and he's seeing ghosts. He's seeing ghosts because look how far off this defender is. DK's open. It is 2nd and 7. DK's open, and Russ just won't throw the ball. I can't comprehend it. Like, I know it sounds like I'm frustrated, and I am somewhat, because there are plays where Russ can have success, but Russ just won't throw it, or Russ won't run, and I can't. It frustrates me because I can't understand why this ball isn't coming out to DK Metcalf. Why that ball on the last 2nd and 10 sack, or 1st and 10 sack we talked about, the second sack of the game, why that ball didn't go out to Greg Olsen, I'll never understand. But Brian Schottenheimer schemed up plays against blitzes to where receivers and tight ends were open on hook routes and curl routes against zone, and Russ never threw the ball. And I can't give an explanation as to why. That is one that falls on Russell Wilson again. Okay, so this play right here is going to be the 5th sack on Russell Wilson against the Los Angeles Rams. It is another 1st and 10 sack from Russell Wilson. So we got a lot of off coverage here. Lot of room here with these receivers. And Russ has a clean pocket. You have a receiver coming down the seam here. You have DK Metcalf wide open, at the 25 yard line, 24 yard line, and DK is just there, and Russ just takes off, and Russ just runs. And I can't understand. Like, if we watch it from the all 22 angle, or from the end zone angle, on 1st and 10, by the way, we're gonna run the play here. Bro, why is this ball not out? Like, I can't understand it. Like, I'm just at the point now where I have no idea what Russell Wilson is even doing at this point. Because I guess you can say, you can say Damian Lewis got beat here, in which he did. But if DK's running this in route across the formation against zone, by the way, why are you not hitting DK Metcalf across the middle with this pocket? Like, I can't comprehend it. Like, again, Damian Lewis gets beat, of course, so Russ just panics, and Russ tries to step up. But even when Russ clears the defensive end, he can still throw the ball, and he won't throw it. I don't understand. Like, and at this point, DK doesn't even care anymore. Like, because DK's like, the ball's not coming to me. Russ takes a sack, and it's just an unnecessary sack because Russell Wilson just won't throw the ball. I don't understand. I always felt like it was a narrative about Russ. I always thought that narrative about Russ was wrong. But as I'm looking through this Week 10 game against the Rams, it's looking more and more like Russell Wilson is holding this ball for too long. So the next play here is going to be the 6th and final sack. It's going to be for minus 10 yards by Michael Brockers. And again, it happened on 1st and 10, right? So 1st and 10, we're inside the red zone as well. So 1st and 10 here. You have 3 receivers, 2 at the top as well. No running back. So you're running pretty much 5 wide, basically, in your offensive lineman and your quarterback. So as the ball is snapped here, Russ is going to drop back. And here's where I have a little problem, right? Because if it's 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line, why is every route in the end zone? I don't understand. Like, this is like, you don't even do this on Madden. Like, it's 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line, and every route, like, I'm not exaggerating, every route is in the end zone against man coverage. Everyone just ran verticals and turned around in the end zone. What are you supposed to do as Russell Wilson? Like, it's nothing that you can do. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me because it's 1st and 10. Why are we running routes into the end zone with everyone's back turned against tight man coverage? I can't comprehend it. I don't know what they saw on tape to think that this was a good idea. And then, Jesus, the offensive lineman just gets destroyed here. Number 73. They just run through him, and bless his heart. They run through him, and they sack Russ. And bro, look at that move by Brockers. Oh my goodness, that's a move. Brockers swiped him so hard that Brockers. I love the Rams defense. Brockers swipes him so hard that he stumbles. Look, he stumbles. And Russ gets sacked or whatever for minus 10 yards, but it doesn't matter because Russ wasn't going to have success on this play anyway because everybody ran routes into the end zone from 11 yards out. I don't understand. So I can't. I got to watch that again. That Michael Brockers, man, that was a move. Look at this. Just get out of my way. When you're in this position as a guard, you're done. You're done. I can't put that one on Russ. The play calling was bad, but I can't put that one on Russell Wilson. So this is the joy of making videos and editing them, right? When this video gets up, as I just talked about Michael Brockers and how great he was with just swiping through Jamarco Jones from the Seahawks, Michael Brockers is getting traded to the Lions. So, that's the joy of doing videos. So we're going to keep rolling though. Doesn't matter to me. We'll talk about the Rams later when we get to the, get a little later on into the game or into the film session. So, this play here is going to be a Russell Wilson sack against the Rams. This is actually, and I'm not exaggerating, this is the first play of the football game. The first play of the football game, and it's a sack. So let's look at it. Let's see what happens. Olsen runs in motion. They run a lot of motion with these tight ends and never throw the ball to them. It never makes any sense to me. So they're going to snap the ball here, play action. Come on. It's over, right? I mean, Russ can't do anything. It doesn't fall on Russ in my opinion, but we're gonna watch it from the end zone angle, as Blackson is very happy about getting that sack. So, I mean, come on, like, what are you supposed to do here? Like, if my lineup is correct, I have Dwayne Brown at left tackle, I have Mike Iupati at left guard, I have Damian Lewis at center for this game, Jamarco Jones at guard. Here, and then Brandon Shell at tackle. So, as you see here, I mean, Damian Lewis just gets thrown out of the way. Number 68, he just gets thrown. Russ ends up getting sacked, and it doesn't even matter about what's going on down the field. Just the fact that your center can just get thrown around like a rag doll, is very problematic, and it's just not a very good, not very good offensive line play. So we're gonna run it one more time here, and as you can see right here, he just swipes, get your hands off me, and Russ is dead. Iupati tries to grab him, but it's the play's over at this point. Jamarco is trying to do something here. Brandon Shell's trying to do something. It's just Russ is sacked. He's doomed. Play's over. So I didn't put the last one on Russ, just because of the offensive line issues. I just can't say that that falls on Russell Wilson. Granted, it was the first play of the game, which I thought was very interesting, to say the least. So this sack here is going to be a 3rd and 2 as the running back goes back in the backfield to the right of Russ. You got a receiver, and receiver, and you have a tight end down there in line in the slot. Excuse me. So there's really no safety. This defender is creeping back, potentially to run like some type of single high look to play these routes over here. And it's almost as if they knew what Russ was going to do, because no routes went down the side of the field. So having this single high safety was perfect. It's a perfect play to run single high safety with. Now there is a receiver open, but Russ is under pressure so quickly by Simmons that it doesn't even matter at this point. But I do want to give credit to Vance Joseph and the way that he called this game, because I think Vance Joseph picked up on what the Rams were doing down the field, because the Rams had such a good front that they didn't have to really blitz, but they had such good coverage that they would bracket you in, and teams did that against the Seahawks all year, where receivers will be covered by 3 defenders. You can only play 11 on the field, but everyone was covered somehow. That's the level of communication these defenses had. So on this play right here, the Cardinals are going to tease this double A gap blitz. Now, if you don't know, the A gap is the gap that goes between the guards and the center. So between the left guard and the center is the A gap. Between the guard, or I guess at this point it'd be the right guard and the center, and then the center and the left guard, though that is the A gap. So that's how you determine what the A gap is. So if you ever hear me say, or you hear someone who breaks down film say it was an A gap blitz or a double A gap blitz, or they faked an A gap blitz, that's how you know. If they say, well, it was a B gap blitz, you know that it's between the left tackle and the left guard. And then the same thing for the B gap blitz over here. All it is the gaps just flip depending on which side of the offensive line you're on, but it's still B. That's all it is. It's not really that complex. But the Cardinals, I love this play because the Cardinals teased this double A gap blitz with Hicks and Simmons, right? But they rotate, right? And right now it looks like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like you have 7 people rushing the quarterback, right? But watch what they do here. And then watch Hassan Reddick on the edge. It's a beautiful play. We're going to run the play here. Russ asks for the ball. It looks like they were going to blitz, right? Watch what happens here. Jordan Hicks picks up the receiver across the formation, right? Boom. Receiver's taken out. You have a safety going over there as well. And Reddick, because of the amount of pressure that they sent to overload this side, Upati is there by himself. He doesn't know what's going on, right? But Hassan Reddick is almost coming through untouched until Carlos Hyde breaks off to pick up Hassan Reddick, right? Well, what happens when he picks up Hassan Reddick? Who is coming around the edge? Oh, could it be that guy that was just standing in the A gap? Look at this. He comes around. He lets Reddick get engaged with the blocker, and he just Hyde turns his back to try to ride Reddick out of the play, and Simmons has his eyes on Russell Wilson, and it is a sack. They teased that double A gap blitz. They backed out, covered the receiver, sent Simmons around the formation late after Reddick got engaged with the blocker, and it left Isaiah Simmons with a clear shot at Russell Wilson. That is scheming your defense. That is good coaching by Vance Joseph. So the next play here, also I can't put that sack on Russell Wilson. I mean, it's just a good play call. I mean, it's just good defense. So can't put that one on Russ. We get to the third sack. Here's another 1st and 10 sack. So we're gonna run the play here. You have one receiver out wide. You have some pretty tight coverage as well. You have that single high safety, or it looks like he's playing single high, but then it almost looks like it could drop into somewhat of a cover too if the safety was to drop back, but they kind of just play this single high look with some pretty tight coverage across the formation here. And quite frankly, there's just nowhere for Russell Wilson to go with the ball. It looks like it's just a play where there are just two receivers going down the field. And again, like I talked about with the Rams coverage, and like we talked about earlier in the film review a few days ago, look at what I mean by brackets. Covered by two defenders, one underneath, covered by defenders, one here. It's just very good coverage, and it's so covered, right, with just this half of the field that you still have a defender here not doing anything. That is good defense. I can't put any of these on Russell Wilson because Vance Joseph just out-schemed Brian Schottenheimer. Now, we talked about it with the Byron Murphy play in the last Cardinals game where they sent that corner blitz. They didn't send a corner blitz this game. They didn't send one. But in the last game, they didn't send a double A-gap blitz either. But Russell Wilson and the Seahawks knew that they loved to send a corner blitz, which is why on most of these sacks we see a running back in the backfield because they're ready to defend that corner blitz. But instead of a corner blitz, they sent linebacker blitzes. And the Seahawks simply weren't ready for it. It's very, very good defensive play calling. So the next play here is going to be Week 12 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Russell Wilson was sacked 2 times in this game. From what I've seen so far, my offensive line looks like Dwayne Brown, Mike Upati, Ethan Poisick, Damian Lewis, and Cedric Ogbuehi. So we have a change at right tackle. Against the Cardinals, Jamarco Jones played right guard, and Damian Lewis played center. Well, this game, Ethan Poisick plays center, Damian Lewis plays right guard, Cedric Ogbuehi plays right tackle. So we're going to run this play here. It's going to be a -4 yard sack by Fletcher Cox. But instead of it being on first down, this is going to be this is a sack that's going to be on first down. The next one is on fourth down. So this sack here is going to be on first down once again, like most of these sacks have been so far. So we're going to run it here. And again, you only have one receiver. You have a couple tight ends on the field. You have a running back. Me personally, I'm not a fan of these plays. We're probably going to have to run it just from the end zone angle after this play, because if this is one running back and this looks like it could be 3 tight ends, this is 13 personnel. I hate 13 personnel. I think 13 personnel is I don't want to say it's a bad scheme to run. I just think it limits you a lot in the passing game because tight ends really aren't good receivers down the field. You really only want to see 13 personnel, in my opinion, if we're running the ball. But the fact that I see tight end, one running back, I know this is 13 personnel, because again, the first number represents the running back, and then the second number represents the tight end. So we got 13 personnel here. And it goes back to the point that I just made. Now, here's the thing, right? I'm going to put this sack on Russell Wilson, even though I hate 13 personnel, right? As much as I just buried 13 personnel. I'm going to put this sack on Russell Wilson, and here's why. Right? So we keep talking about this in this session, these hook routes. These receivers are open. This is first down. It's not like you have to get to the 5-yard line. These receivers are open. Now, no one else is really open, but that's about it. And even to the point where Fletcher Cox is beginning to bust through the line, the tight end is still open. I can't understand. I don't understand why Russ just refuses to throw these balls to the tight ends. We're going to watch it from the end zone angle just to see, who ended up getting beat. But again, as I said before, you have your Dwayne Brown, Mike Upati, Ethan Poisick, Damian Lewis, and Cedric Ogbuehi. And again, it is 13 personnel. I could tell that from the all 22. How about that? So 3 tight ends, 1 running back, one running back, 1, 2, 3 tight end, 13 personnel. It's I don't really like 13 like I said before, I don't really like it because most teams run nickel because nickel's not really good against 13 personnel. So that means most of the league doesn't run 13 personnel. So I don't really like the formation. But first of all, my goodness, My goodness, Fletcher Cox is a man. And I'll put it like that. Look at this. Look, when your offensive lineman, then we just talk about this with Michael Brockers. When your offensive lineman is like this, looks like he's about to take the handoff in a race, like he's about to run his 40-yard dash. When he looks like that and he's on his knees, it's over. You're done. You're done, right? That's a play where I want to say it's the offensive line, but even down to the pressure that's coming back in Russ's face, Russ has the opportunity to step up and hit this receiver here, but Russ is looking deep, and again, it's Russ being greedy, right? It's Russ being greedy, because when we run the play back here, you're gonna see Russ being greedy again, where Russ is gonna try to take this ball deep down the field when there is nothing down the field. I don't understand why Russ wants to take this ball down the field. There's nothing. DK's not open, Russ. He ain't open. You can't throw it to him. But you got open receivers here and here, and you just refuse to throw them the football. I can't really understand that. But Fletcher Cox is a man. That is a grown man. He absolutely bullies Damian Lewis here, and he gets the sack on Russell Wilson. So the next play here, we get motion across the formation again. You have, this isn't 13 personnel, thank God. So if my eyes are correct, this is one tight end, one running back. This is 11 personnel. This is what most of the league runs, right? Because the point of nickel defense is to play. If you're Brett Favre, you don't care about nickel defense. But the point of nickel defense is to play with the third corner, because most teams run 13 personnel, or 11 personnel, run 11 personnel, one running back, one tight end, which is what we have here, 11 personnel. So most teams run 11 personnel, and most defenses run nickel defense to match up with 11 personnel. So if most of the league runs nickel, then what does that mean? That means most of the league runs 11 personnel, which is why I hate 13 personnel. But I digress. Russ snaps the ball here. Russ is looking. He steps up, he runs, he gets sacked. This is this sack here, again, it does come in week 12. This is a sack that comes on 4th and 2. Really, no one's open for Russ. I mean, I can't really blame Russ for this play, just because when we watch it from this angle here, with the offensive line, you're going to see what I mean here. So we'll run the play here, and first of all, Agbui is done, right? The play's over already. He's already beat off the line of scrimmage. Russ tries to step up. I believe this is Brandon Graham who just gets around Agbui, and then Upati ends up giving up his defender, and his defender, who I believe is Derek Barnett, ends up getting the sack. But really, Barnett gets the sack on this play, but the star of the play is Brandon Graham. My goodness. Look at this. Just get off me. Look at that. Don't touch me. Look, steps up, sack. Come on. That's complimentary football by the Philadelphia Eagles. And that is a sack that I can't necessarily put on Russell Wilson, but it's a very good defensive play by the Philadelphia Eagles. These next set of sacks come from the New York Giants. The offensive line so far looks like Dwayne Brown, Mike Upati, Ethan Poisick, Damian Lewis, and Jamarco Jones, right? So that's what the offensive line looks like so far. As we're going to snap the ball here, and Russ is, of course, going to get sacked here. Now, this sack is actually on 3rd and 4 to start the drive, right? So it's on 3rd and 4. Russ spins out, and Russ ends up getting sacked, right? But I put this one on Russ, right? Because Russ didn't pay attention on this play, because you have an outlet here, and Russ doesn't throw the ball. DK is getting bullied here. I can't believe I'm saying that. But you have an outlet here against this coverage where you have room to take this thing up the field. Looks like Russ's eyes are looking this way, but Russ doesn't throw the ball. We'll watch it from the end zone angle, but it looks like so far this one is going to fall onto the shoulders of Russell Wilson. We're going to run it from this angle here. Pressure is coming in his face, but I guess at this point, pressure so close that Russ just kind of, tries to avoid it, and he ends up getting sacked for minus 11 yards by Crowder on 3rd and 4. So as we get to the next play here, it's going to be the second sack of the game. It is going to be on 1st and 10. Russell Wilson, you're going to get some motion here. 2 receivers up top, or one at the bottom, one at the top. Russ is going to go play action here. And really no one's open. You just have a lot of deep routes. You have this deep over where no one's really open here because, again, bracketed coverage, man coverage, single high safety. It's very good defensive play calling. So as we watch it from this angle, just watch how quickly they get overpowered here, right? Peppers comes down like he's going to show a blitz. Peppers goes to the line of scrimmage so fast. This is why I love, let me tell you something. I love smaller like safeties and linebackers like Buda Baker and people who can just shoot through gaps because they're so fast. I love those kinds of players, right? And that's what Jabril Peppers is. He busted the line of scrimmage. He overpowers everything. Completely splits the running back, says, "Get off of me," and gets Russell Wilson. That is a play. That is a play by young Jabril Peppers. So that sack, again, doesn't fall on Russell Wilson for me necessarily. I just think that it was just a hell of a defensive play call by the New York Giants. They just out-schemed Brian Schottenheimer. So we'll go play action here. Russ has a pretty clean pocket here. I don't know what Russ sees here, but this is their open receiver. Open receiver. And I mean, look how open. This is insane. And Russ has the ball. No, there's no pressure on Russell Wilson. And this is 1st and 10. And it's no pressure. I don't know why this ball isn't out. I'll never understand why this ball is not out. That is frustrating as a player because you're doing your job to get open. The offensive line is doing their job to block, doing their job to block here. And it's just no one's really helping you out. Blocked. Everyone's doing a good job of blocking here. Damian Lewis. Look at Dwayne Brown here. Just had Leonard Williams, stood up. Williams spins out. Boom. Russ spins. Williams sacks him. That's a very rich man now, by the way. And Russ gets sacked. But I can't understand why, because Russell Wilson had receivers open down the field. I don't know what Russ saw there on that play. But that is definitely a sack that falls on Russell Wilson on 1st and 10. 1st and 10, you lose 15 yards. You're shooting yourself in the foot. That's not very good quarterback play there. The next play here, Russ is going to snap the ball here. You got your 3 receivers. You're running back in the backfield. Russ is going to go. Russ's pocket's somewhat clean. You could possibly throw this deep ball here, but you have that safety there that's going to come up and play that. Nothing's really open over here. Receivers are pretty much, blanketed. And Russ goes down, as Leonard Williams and Jabal Sheard split the sack. But as we run it from here, this play here, Russ panics because Russ feels pressure. And Russ steps up and Russ ends up getting sacked. And it's almost, I don't want to say Russ is seeing ghosts, like I said earlier, because I think that's disrespectful to say. But I think that Russell Wilson has the internal clock in his head where he's like, I only have like a second to get this ball out. But sometimes he has like 5 seconds. But because he's been hit so many times, he mentally, begins to think, oh my God, there's pressure coming, and there's no pressure. I don't want to say it's seeing ghosts, but I think when you play behind this offensive line and you have Schottenheimer as your coordinator, I think you can tend to struggle a little bit. So for that one, I won't put that one on Russell Wilson. We're going to get to the 5th sack here. We're just going to be another sack from Leonard Williams for minus 8 yards here. We're going to snap the ball here. And come on. It's over. Play's over. That quickly. It was that fast. I'm going to show you why. It's a very, very good defensive play call here. So you have Tomlinson here who takes on the double team, and Williams comes around on the twist, and that's it. Game over. That's it. Play's over. It's a very, very, very good defensive game call by Patrick Graham. I think he coached his tail off in this game because they did twists and stunts and they knew that earlier in the season, what you talked about in the last film review, where Russell Wilson struggled against stunts, and this is what you get. And the stunt comes and Russ gets sacked, and that's just a very good game that was called by Patrick Graham there. So I don't put that one on Russ either. The offensive line just was confused. So week 16, Russell Wilson is playing the Rams again. I know people are going to be like, well, what about week 14 and 15? Well, shockingly, Russell Wilson's offensive line didn't allow Russell Wilson to get sacked. And it's weird because they played the New York Jets, who don't really have a defense or a pass rush or anything, but they played the Washington football team and didn't give up a sack. I'll never understand it. Russell Wilson didn't get sacked one time against Washington, and I have no idea how that happened. But the offensive line was just as bad as it is in these games that I'm watching, so I don't know how they didn't get home on some sacks. But as I said, we're in week 16 here. First sack's going to come on 3rd and 3. And this is a sack here that I'm already going to put on Russell Wilson just because Russ kind of panics here. And it becomes somewhat problematic for this play, because Russ doesn't even attempt to potentially roll out here and hit this receiver or hit the receiver going down the field or anything like that. Russ just kind of tries to shoulder shake. How you try to swipe away with your shoulder from a 300-pound defensive tackle, I'll never comprehend why quarterbacks try that. It doesn't work. This is the most athletic 300-pounder that you'll ever see. And why Russ doesn't try to roll out or get away from it kind of shocks me. Why he doesn't, or potentially step up here to run or roll out there. He doesn't really do that as Joseph busts through the line of scrimmage off a stunt and sacks Russell Wilson. Russ is down, plays over. That's pretty much it. I put that one on Russ just because there's a lane to run through, a way to roll out, and Russ didn't do that. Russ just put his head down and just took the sack. So this next play here, as you can see down the field, you have a receiver running his out route, a receiver running an in route, and the corner taking the receiver up the field. But Russ gets sacked here, even though there's a wide open receiver over here. Now, this one is going to fall on Russ just because there were open receivers. But as we watch it from the end zone angle, you'll see why I put it on Russ. Just watch. So we're going to snap it from the end zone angle here. And they were going to send a blitz through this gap here, but they actually end up sending it through the A gap between the guard, or between the center and the guard. The blitz comes through. They pick it up, do a good job of that. But for some reason, Russ runs and he just dips. That's it. He didn't even try. He just runs and he puts his head down and he runs into a sack. That is something that I've always seen on film with Russell Wilson, where Russ just kind of runs into a sack, where really at this point, there is a possible, defender coming to get Russ from this side here. But as far as that, that's it. Russ literally runs and boop, he gets hit. That's it. That quickly. Because Russ tried, when Russ needs to run, Russ doesn't run. But when Russ isn't supposed to run, that's when Russ wants to run. It is very frustrating. It's very frustrating to watch on film, because I know that Russell Wilson's a better player than this. And the fact that I'm seeing this on film from him is really deflating. So the next play is going to be Russell Wilson's third sack, second sack by Leonard Floyd here, -8 yards. Leonard Floyd put up enough sack. Leonard Floyd could have possibly won Defensive Player of the Year with how many times he sacked Russell Wilson. It was 6 times. As Russ is going to snap the ball here, they are going to send pressure. And granted, the Seahawks do a good job of picking it up, and there's an open receiver here. You have one-on-one coverage here. There is no that safety. I don't care who it is unless you're Ed Reed. You're not making that. So you have a potential over the top throw to the pylon here. You have some things open. You have, like I said, you have this route sitting down right here, and Russ doesn't really do anything here. This is a 3rd and 6, and granted, you're gonna be somewhat short, but if you want to go for this 3rd and 6 can become 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, and it's very manageable. And instead of just throwing the ball to pick up yards, Russ just gets sacked. I can't make sense of it on 3rd and 6. That one falls on Russell Wilson because as we run the play here, Russ is going to look. He's going to go to his reads, go to the next read. Russ steps up. Russ tries to run. He tries to escape. Russ gets sacked. And that's it. It's not a good play by Russell Wilson because as we run the play again, Russ has a pocket. Russ has a receiver. Russ doesn't throw the ball. Why Russ doesn't throw the ball to these wide open tight ends and receivers who are sitting down, I'll never understand. It comes off as Russell Wilson is just being very, very greedy and really wants to go for the deep shot all the time. And that's not the best thing to do. Russ can cook, but Russ don't got to cook 45 yards down the field every play. Come on. So Russ takes the ball, and I don't know what Russell Wilson's trying to do on this play because this is 1st and 10. I don't know if this was a quarterback draw or what this was, but he takes the ball. He drops back. He snaps the ball. There is no pressure. He just runs. And I can't explain why. He just runs and he just falls down. I can't exactly comprehend what this play is. This is probably one of the worst sacks I've seen Russell Wilson take because he tries to run. I don't know if he stumbles or the turf monster gets him or what, but he just falls. Boom. And that's a sack. Like, I don't know what Russell Wilson's trying to do here. I mean, I don't want to bury the guy, but my goodness, Russ, like, some of these plays are just horrible. Next play here, Russell Wilson's final sack of the game is going to be -5 yards from Aaron Donald, who I believe is arguably the greatest defensive player to ever play football. But he gets sacked here. Russ doesn't even have the opportunity to throw the ball. But as we watch it from the end zone angle, it's really going to tell us this is a monster of a man. I mean, just look at this. Just get off of me, man. Just don't even touch me. Just move. Get out the way. That's what he said. Get out the way. Boom. Gets him. Play's over. Can't put that on Russ, but my goodness. I'll tell you one thing. I'm falling in love with the Rams defense all over again because they are very good. And Aaron Donald, like I said before, is probably one of the greatest defensive players I've ever seen. Arguably the greatest I've ever seen. As we get to week 17 here, the final week of the NFL season, Russell Wilson is going to be sacked twice. In this game, the first was going to come on 3rd and 8 against the 49ers here. They have Lockett go across the formation to determine whether or not it is man coverage. Sherman's up top playing corner as well. So Russ is going to drop back with the ball. He's looking. The coverage is so ridiculous. Look at this coverage. Blanket it. Richard Sherman is old. And look at that coverage. Blanket it. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing Russell Wilson can do here because nobody's open. And plays like this are why Robert Saleh is a head coach now. I mean, it's just very good defensive plays. I can't say that one's on Russ. That's just very good, defensive scheming. You see the offensive line here. Looks like the offensive line in this particular game is going to be Dwayne Brown, Jordan Simmons, Ethan Poisik, Damian Lewis, and Cedric Ogbuehi is going to be the offensive line here. And they're going to snap the ball here. And really, it's just a really good play by Fred Warner. And he busts through the line over here, and he just gets the sack. I mean, it's not really much you can do. He just kind of comes around the line of scrimmage and gets the sack on Russell Wilson. So they overload this blitz over here, and the running back tries to block, but it's whatever. He gets taken out of the way, and Warner comes all the way around the formation to get the sack. So we'll run the play one more time. And here's Fred Warner, right? Keep your eye on Fred Warner. Watch what he does. Snap. Warner acts like he's going to engage. He drops back and comes all the way around the formation and sacks Russell Wilson. It's a good defensive play call. It's a very good defensive play call. The next play here is going to be a sack for minus 11 yards here by Johnson. And what do we talk about, during the against the Bills and against the Cardinals, where we talked about that corner blitz was coming off the edge, right? So the 49ers are faking this corner blitz, or they're showing that they're going to send a corner blitz, right? So in order to combat that corner blitz, they have a tight end come in line to try to chip this defender. But no one touches the defender. He just runs by, and he sacks Russell Wilson. Miscommunication. It's not much Russ can do when you have a defensive back who's very fast barreling down on you. That tight end, was in to block, and he doesn't block, and the play's over. That can't fall on Russell Wilson. That's just a play where there was just a lack of communication, and that lack of communication ended up making 1st and 15, into 2nd and 25, 2nd and 24, because of a miscommunication by the offensive line and Russell Wilson. So that was all of the Russell Wilson sacks from the regular season, right? But wait, there's one more game. And you know who it's against? Russell Wilson's favorite team. Russell Wilson's favorite team to play against. Oh, yes, the Los Angeles Rams, who sacked Russell Wilson 5 times in the playoffs. 5 times in the playoffs. So Russell Wilson was sacked 5 times in the playoffs, 6 times in week 10. That's 11 sacks, right? So in 2 games alone, they sacked Russell Wilson 11 times. 11 times. I can't make sense of it. 11 times in that game, or in those games right there. And then you get to week 16, Russ gets sacked 3 more times. 14 and then 16 sacks. You get sacked 2 more times. He was like 6. Russell Wilson, listen to this. Russell Wilson was sacked 16 times by one team. It's a mess. Let's run the play. So Russ is gonna first you have this receiver open here. Russ doesn't see the receiver. He doesn't even look that way. Russ is gonna pump. Russ is lucky he pumped because this ball would have got intercepted. Look at the coverage. Look, that triangle we talked about earlier. Look at that coverage. Bracket it. He's not going anywhere. Even if he is, boom, that ball can be picked. If he throws here, that ball can be picked. There's nowhere to go. And it's just a very good defensive play call by the Rams here. So, like I said, Russ is going to get sacked. We'll watch it from the end zone angle. And he's going to be sacked by none other than Mr. Aaron Donald. As my review goes, it goes to Wayne Brown. Then you have out at tackle. You have number 72 out at tackle, which is Brandon Shell. So your offensive line is kind of back together with your bookend tackles. You Potty's in as well, Poisic, and Lewis. So you have your offensive line in. Everybody's back. Everybody's healthy. Carson's back at running back, and here comes that man. Just get off me. Nope. No. They're even trying to hold Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is such a good player. He sacks Russell Wilson with one arm. One arm. That's how dominant of a defender this man is. So here you got your bunch formation up here. You have a receiver out here. Look how far off. Ramsey is playing on this defender or on this receiver here, and the reason he's playing so far off is because it's 3rd and 20. So this one's 3rd and 20, and Ramsey doesn't even care because Jalen Ramsey knows I ain't getting beat for 20 plus yards. It's not happening. All he does is backpedal. Look. Then look how he turns, just flawlessly, just no effort at all. Look at his hips. Look. Boom. That quick. That is a lockdown corner. We can talk about interceptions all you want. When that receiver broke on that receiver could have broke on an out route to the sideline. He could have kept running. Ramsey, he could have turned his hips, flipped his hips the other way, went up the field, ran this post route with the receiver. He could have done anything. That's just good corner play. And Aaron Donald, ends up coming through again for a sack, on Russell Wilson. And when you have coverage down the field like that and it's 3rd and long, you can rush the passer like this. Aaron Donald is just a bully. Aaron Donald should be arrested for how bad he beat the Seahawks offensive line. It's so disrespectful. And he does it consistently. And I see why Russell Wilson wants to leave, right? So this play here, a lot of teams do this where they'll fake a handoff to the running back, maybe fake a play action, throw a screen backside or something like that. But the Seahawks don't do that. They just kind of roll and Russ moves and receivers are looking back. Every receiver on the field is looking back at Russ, and looking back at Russ. Now, this would not necessarily be, on Russell Wilson just because these route combinations are horrible. But every receiver is looking back at Russell Wilson, and it is 2nd and 4. But at the same time, it's like run some routes that go down the field because no one's open. There are 3 defenders. What shape is this? Is that a triangle? It's a triangle. That bracketed coverage where there's nothing there. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. And there's nothing here. So all Russell Wilson can do is take the sack. It's the name of the game as Leonard Floyd gets to for his 50th sack on Russell Wilson in a season. He completely, I have to laugh at the Seahawks offensive line as he just completely just abuses poor Brandon Shell here. He just look at this. Look, just get off me, man. And just runs and it just sacks Russell Wilson. Russ can't do anything. Russ gets sacked and the play's over. I can't put that on Russ, man. It's just bad play from the offensive line. It's just bad play and then bad play calling from Brian Schottenheimer. So we're going to run the 4th play, which is the 4th sack, and it's going to be Leonard Floyd's 2nd of the game for -5 yards. Russell Wilson's going to drop back, and you have receivers again, which is what I keep talking about with Brian Schottenheimer, looking back, right? Now, here's why this is problematic, right? Because this play is on 1st and 10. Why are we running routes that require receivers looking back towards the quarterback against his very tight coverage? I'll never understand. You have one deep ball, but it's like you're not gonna go deep on the Cardinals. On the Rams. It's not gonna happen. You're not going deep on the Rams just because their corners are so good. It's not gonna happen. So you have to work the middle of this field, and I guess you have something here, but Russ is sacked at this point, so I can't really put that one on Russ. You can't get the ball out if you're on the ground, but you have to work the middle of the field to beat the Rams. That's what you have to do. You have to somehow survive Aaron Donald and not throw it deep against Jalen Ramsey and Williams out here at corner. You cannot do that. This is your area to work with these linebackers. And if you can work that, you'll be good to go. But if you can't, you're going to get sacked. Russell Wilson had that, but he never worked it. No matter which game we watch with the Rams and the Seahawks, Russell Wilson just never worked the middle of the field. And I can't give you a logical reason why. It's just something that he just doesn't do. So we're going to watch this one as well. It's going to be a Russell Wilson sack. I believe with Leonard Floyd. And I believe this is actually Fox. So Fox is going to bust through here, number 97, to get the sack. He's going to come right over the left guard here, and just it's almost laughable how he just gets rid of Simmons. Like Simmons is nothing when it comes to blocking him, and it's just very disrespectful. But the way that these Rams defenders move their hands and just swipe and swim, and just that's good coaching. And he gets around the line of scrimmage, he busts through, and Russell Wilson sacked. And that's it. That was Russell Wilson's final sack, of the season, and of the postseason as well. So that's every Russell Wilson sack of the year. I can't, I've been tallying them up, excuse me. And the first half that we watched in part one, a lot of those fell on the offensive line. But as we got later into the season, a lot of it fell on Russell Wilson. It did, right? A lot of it fell on Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson wanted to cook so badly that Russ would sacrifice 10-yard completions because he wanted a 45-yard completion. And doing that hurt his team, got him sacked. It was a complete mess, right? So the Seattle Seahawks have to figure this out, right? Because Russell Wilson should be the quarterback of the Seahawks. But the Seahawks have to determine whether or not they want Russell Wilson as their quarterback. Because Russell Wilson wants to do some things that are completely different from what the Seahawks offense wants to do, right? Because Russell Wilson wants to throw it deep to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and not use these tight ends and not work the middle of the field. Not only in the Rams game we just watched in the playoffs, but in all season. How many times have we seen Greg Olsen wide open across the field and Wilson didn't throw the ball? Because Russ doesn't want to work the middle of the field. Russ doesn't want to dink and dunk down the field to get to the end zone. Russ wants bombs, DK Metcalf, 70 yards. That's what Russ wants. And when Russ wants that, but Pete Carroll doesn't, something has to give. Somebody has to break. And I guess Russ got to the point where Russ said, look, I don't want to be here anymore. Or if I didn't want to be here, these are the teams I want to go to. And the way it's looking, those teams Chicago has tried. Las Vegas believes that they have their guy. Dallas just paid Dak. The Saints just paid Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. So you don't have a choice but to make it work in Seattle. But Russell Wilson has to decide if he wants to make it work. Because if Russell Wilson wants to make it work, Russ has to give. He has to give. Because these constant deep balls down the field are losing, will cause you to get sacked and will cause your team to lose games. Now, Seattle can also invest more into the offensive line. They can invest more than 4 draft picks since Russ became a Seahawk. They definitely can do that. They can invest capital into paying, free agent offensive linemen. They can do that, and they should. But the whole issue here is Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll need to get together and figure out what they want their offense to be. Because if they want their offense to be this pass it and throw it down the field offense, fine. You need to create the offensive line for that. But if you want a competent offense that can have success, work the middle of the field. Take what the defense gives you. Patrick Mahomes didn't go to back-to-back Super Bowls for throwing deep balls all the time. He didn't. He worked the middle with Hill and Hardman and Kelsey and the running backs. Things that Russell Wilson refuses to do. According to this film, Russ has to get it together, and so does Pete Carroll. Make sure you guys smash that like and subscribe button as the channel continues to grow and the views continue to grow. Hope you guys enjoyed this kind of review. It's a little different from the mock draft, but you guys will be hearing from me again very, very soon. So as always, social medias are down below in the description as well. The song that's playing over the track is down in the description as well. Make sure you guys go check out that channel as well. So again, thank you guys for all the support, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit.